Should do 4.3. So that's the news. Today we're going to find out in perfect conditions with perfect roads. If you don't care about the Porsche badge, get one of these. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Auto's. My name is Martin, and today I'm taking a look at the all-new Audi SQ6 Sportback. So that's the news. You can now get it as a Sportback. And you might remember that 1 year ago I drove the SQ6 SUV in Bilbao, and it was absolutely pouring with rain back then. But I did really like the car. I was really impressed by it. And today we're going to find out in perfect conditions with perfect roads what it's actually like, because I felt a lot of potential that I just couldn't use back then in Bilbao. So let's start off by saying the SQ6 is not just a Q6 with extra power. It's on the PPE platform, so premium platform electric, and it shares it with the Porsche Macan. But if you drive a regular Q6 and then the SQ6 like I did in Bilbao, you can really appreciate the difference between the two. So this sort of is a Porsche Macan in Audi disguise, and a normal Q6 just is not. So it also has a bespoke suspension setup, which again is more like the Macan. Way more sporty, way more dynamic than the normal Q6. And you do of course get extra power. And in this case you get 490 horsepower, and with launch control you can even go up to 517 horsepower. So let's see what it's like to drive, and for that we're going to use RaceBox. So I'm going to start off in normal mode, or balance mode is what they call it over at Audi. Balanced. And it sits on air suspension as standard. That's standard for the SQ6, and as I said, it's a bespoke setup for the SQ6. So seating position is really good. I like the sharp roof line that goes over me, giving me the feeling that I really sit in the car and not in some high up SUV, even though we're quite high up. So in balance mode, it's already quite a nice car. You can feel that the whole powertrain is a bit distant, you know, really only delivers when you really give it a lot. Suspension quite soft but balanced, I would say. So let's see what happens if we go into dynamic mode. You can see it's dropping one level. And then it's done. Let's also go for Sport ESP mode. Oh yeah, you can definitely feel the difference. Power steering also gets different. It's a little more heavy when you turn in. And everything just feels more alive, more agile, more vivid. Now let's find out what it will do to 100 using launch control. Should do 4.3, 4.21. A little faster than what they claim, and that's always good. So we can control the regen with the flappy pedals. So if I push the plus pedal, so the upshift pedal, let's call it that, the regen goes down, so less regen, and with the left pedal the regen goes up. That may seem a bit unlogical because this is minus, that is plus, but if you think of it as sort of a gearbox, the more drivetrain resistance is on downshifts, so that's the left pedal, more regen. Power is really nice, I think, for its weight, for its size. It's a nice amount of power. The suspension is just really good. It's very reactive in dynamic mode. You feel like you can really push the car, and the air suspension not only drops in dynamic mode, but you can definitely feel that the dampening is a lot more firm and a lot more alive. You can really feel every movement of the car without getting unsettled. that's really good without getting busy. There's quite a lot of feedback even. So in that regard, you can definitely tell that this has been co-developed with Porsche. And the bandwidth with the driving modes is just very impressive. In balanced mode, it's actually a different car than in dynamic mode, which I think is a really good thing, because in dynamic mode you can truly enjoy a road like this. It's just quite communicative and fun to drive. And in balance mode, it's just a very nice travel companion. That's my summary of the driving modes. Okay, let's give it one more try with launch control. See if we can beat that 4.21. No, 4.38. I think this is a little uphill and that's a little downhill. Yeah. But you know, it carries the S badge and it really delivers on that sporty promise. It is very capable, this. And I know you guys don't really care about electric performance cars, and I totally get that, because you know, you don't get any of this sound. You don't get the sound of the gearbox, you don't get the sound of the engine. But to drive this car at a fast pace, it's a really good car. I enjoy this more than the SQ5. So that's the petrol SUV that recently got released with the 3-liter V6. I honestly enjoy this more. So how are we on the brakes? Oh, that's strong performance. And let's see if we can notice. No, we cannot really notice the transition between pad on disc and regen, which is a good thing. So with some brands you have this mushy pedal once the regen is done, and then you get brake disc. You can just feel the resistance on the brake pedal getting different. And like with the Macan, with this car, it's just really good. So top speed, by the way, is 230. With normal Q6s it's 210, so you get a little more of an Autobahn experience if you want. Not sure if you would want to do that, because the range is 590-ish kilometers. So you would deplete the battery quite quickly, I guess. .26. And I think that was a little uphill. And we have 800 volt architecture, so it will not get slower when we do multiple launches, like with different brands. 4.22. So we get that 30 horsepower increase when we use launch control. Can we actually measure that difference? Let's give it a try with no launch control. That actually feels slower. 4.4. So that was it, guys. The Audi SQ6 Sportback. Now I would prefer having the normal SUV because I like to take my dogs, and I think this is a nice competition for like a Porsche Macan, because in a technical sense you get sort of the same car with more equipment, more power for less money. So that's always a good proposition, right? If you don't care about the Porsche badge, get one of these. Thanks, guys.